Hey guys, Jocelyn here. So, as one of the 8 core commitments, saying read, right? And I was fascinated because I haven't read books in a while. And the amazing thing is that I want to be willing to share with you. I never liked reading as a kid, especially out loud. I was definitely embarrassed. I was a little bit dyslexic. I don't know if I should say a little bit, but it was very difficult for me, and I read at a slower pace. And that's why I never wanted to read out loud or take English classes, because I was so embarrassed. And I didn't want that to stop me at one point. I hid it very well. I mean, like high anxiety, like I got that in class. I will never forget like being called on. I never raised my hand, and I did. And my teacher had called me, and yeah, it was so nerve-wracking. I said, I never, ever want to experience that again. So I had to do my best to kind of get over that fear, which is great because I didn't start reading books until after high school, funny thing is. But anyways, I was looking through my library, and I've, added some books, took some books out or whatever. And the book that I've just read is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. It's a very amazing book. I remember reading it, but I don't think I finished reading it through. Really, really good friend of mine by the name of Daniel Song actually introduced this book to me. And it's actually into a particular group where we did a training little seminar that he did with that particular team at that time. We were working together and studying leadership, and we kind of had a little book club. So that's what I wanted to do and kind of cover the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. So that's what I'm going to do today. So lesson 1, I guess. First chapter in introduction. I definitely highlighted some things and phenomenal things. So really, really quick. Sorry, I should be more prepared. But I highlighted some things that I wanted to share with you in the introduction, okay, which I thought was awesome. He says, leadership is leadership, no matter where you go or what you do, okay? So just remember these 4 ideas. It says these laws he's writing out and talk about, the laws can be learned, 1. Some are easier to understand and applied than others, but every one of them can be acquired. So you can learn any of these laws, okay? Number 2, the laws stand alone. They're on alone, like the law of gravity, right? Just, it's going to fall, right? So each law complements all the others, okay? But you don't need one in order to learn the other, okay? 3, the laws carry consequences with them, all right? So apply the laws and people will follow you. But if you violate or ignore them, you will not be able to lead others. Wow, forewarning. Okay, so number 4, it says the laws of the foundations of leadership. And once you learn the principles, you have to practice them and apply them in your life. In your life, guys. And let's see. Okay, so you may already practice some of them effectively. Other laws will be exposed, some weaknesses that you don't know you had. But the greater the number of laws that you learn, the better leader that you will become. And, each law is kind of like a tool, ready to be kind of picked up, used to help you achieve your dreams and add value to other people. And, if you pick up one, you will become a better leader. Learn them all, and people will gladly follow you. How about that, guys? I know that some of you guys are interested in that. Okay, so law number 1 is the law of the lid, okay? So it basically sounds like leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. Okay? All right, so in this lesson, or in this chapter, I'm just going to read my highlights and notes. It says, the lower an individual's ability to lead, the lower the lid to his potential. But the higher the leadership, the greater the effectiveness. More things can get done, basically, with your leadership skills that you possess, right? So your leadership ability, for better or worse, it's always going to determine your effectiveness and the potential to impact your organization, all right? So kind of talks about a little bit of a cap in there. And if, let's say, you're at a certain point and this is all you can do, you can't lead more than what you can do, in a sense, okay? So a little story of lesson of how this happened. You guys are not gonna like this. Okay, so Dick and Maurice, they were basically good restaurant owners. You know, they understood how to run a business, make systems different, cut costs, and increase profits. But they weren't efficient managers, you know, but they weren't efficient leaders. You know, their thinking patterns kind of cramped the lid on what they could do. So, you know, what happens? You know, the brothers basically partnered up with a leader, Ray Kroc, you know, who was the leader. So you guys kind of know what the company is, you know who Ray Kroc is, right? Or hold up. So, you know, as soon as Ray Kroc visits McDonald's, guys, the McDonald's brothers, right? As soon as he kind of like visits the store, he's actually one of their, you know, best customers. He kind of visited the store and he had a vision for the potential of the store. And in his mind, he could see the restaurant going nationwide in hundreds of markets. He was like, whoa, y'all have something in here. There is something we could do here. So he begins to assemble a team to build an organization to make McDonald's a nationwide entity, okay? So he hired the sharpest people he can find. He can find, okay? And his team grew in size and ability, and his people developed additional recruits and leadership skills along with him. You know what I mean? Not just you growing, but you growing with your team is a different thing, okay? I do have flies playing around. But anyways, during his first 8 years with McDonald's, he actually took no salary, guys. Isn't that crazy? Not only that, but he personally had to borrow money from the bank against his lifetime insurance, you know, to help cover the salaries for the key few leaders. He wanted to, you know, keep the leaders afloat, and he wanted on the team. But his sacrifice and his leadership totally paid off. I mean, hello. In 1961, 2.7 million, that's a lot of money in that time. And you know how big McDonald's is now, right? Pretty big. So the lid in the life and the leadership of Ray Kroc was obviously much higher than his predecessors, which were, you know, Dick and Maurice McDonald's. You know what I mean? They didn't have the ability to grow their company into that stature. So, you know, success without leadership is the next thing. He goes, personal success without leadership ability brings limited efforts, as I was saying, right? A person's impact is only a fraction of what it can do or be a good leader with good leadership. You know, the higher you want to climb, the more you need leadership. If you want to get promoted, let's say in your job or a position in your company, you know what I mean? You got to be able to do more. You need more leadership. You know, the greater the impact you want to make, the greater your influence needs to be. You know, whether you will accomplish, you know, whether you're going to accomplish it or not, you're restricted by your ability to lead others. You're restricted to that. You know what I mean? If you say you want to get that promotion, but if you're not growing your skill set, why would anybody want to, you know, give you a raise in your job particular? Or, you know, yeah, you want to make more money, but what are you doing that is, you know, elevating yourself or pushing yourself, propelling yourself to that next level? Okay? All right, so continuing on. You know, over the course of time, you kind of develop as a leader over time, not just overnight, guys. But eventually, your leadership ability, it will become more. So there's this diagram right here, if you can see. Here. So let's say like you only have a 1 point, you know, leadership. Your effectiveness to lead how many people is that much. But compared to here, you know, you grow, your ability and your effectiveness kind of grows with it. Hand in hand, guys. Hand in hand is basically what he talks about. You know what I mean? So leadership has a multiplying effect. You know, the more you grow, the more bigger your organization will grow with you. So leadership kind of has the ability to lead on a personal and personal and organization of effortness. So if a leadership is strong, then the lid is high. But if it's not, the organization is definitely limited. It's small. There may be at some points none at all, right? So that's why in times of trouble, organizations, they naturally look for new leadership. Oh my gosh, that opened my eyes to something. When that leadership was not there, people or the organization would flee because it wasn't there. Isn't that, wow, that's very interesting. I saw something there. Anyway, so the relationship between leadership and effectiveness is evident in sports. You see it in sports, right? Like the Lakers, right? Like Phil Jackson, you know, and his coaching ability, did he not lead two different amazing teams to championships multiple times because of his leadership and coach? So it's kind of like he says, the talent on the team is kind of really the issue. You can have key players, on your team, but I mean, but if that leadership, that's provided by the coach, with the key players, it's not there, it makes a difference. The change the effortness of the team, you're going to have to lift the leadership up, or the coach. That's the law of the lid, right? If you want to grow more, you're going to have to push more. Whoa, that's pretty crazy, because in most places, they literally fire the managers, and because if they weren't doing their job in the first place, the company wouldn't be in that big hole. And this is kind of relating into something else personal, or with the previous company that I have affiliated with, we should say that. And there's a lot of people that are going to be losing their jobs, let's just say that. Okay, so whatever you look, you can find smart, talented, successful people, who are able to only, go so far because of their limitations to leadership. Let's say with Apple, right? You know what I mean? At first, in the beginning, the company didn't grow, but here comes Steve Jobs, and obviously his lid was high, and he kind of built a world-class organization, right? He gave it a 9-digit value. That sounds pretty awesome, but I'm pretty sure it's out there. But he left a legacy, and his ability and his leadership was able to grow that attracted, influenced many. That was that beyond that. So check that out, guys. So closing things. So two things. First, this is what I was saying for customers and stuff, like in a company, like somebody who was doing consulting. So the first thing they do to kind of improve, let's say a company that's kind of flowing down the ship, he trains all the staff to improve their level, right? Service to the customers. And second, they actually kind of fire the leader, and that's pretty crazy. But it doesn't have to be that in most cases, right? But, because he says, like, if he would have been a good leader, that organization wouldn't have been in a mess at all, right? So to reach the highest level of effectiveness, guys, you have to raise the lid one way or another. So that is chapter 1, the law of the lid in 21 Irrefutable Laws. We will continue on the next time. I will do chapter 2, and you'll find out what the next law is. Okay.